think root cause, before I even get to any conversations with my kids about marriage, I pray the Lord gives me the wisdom to talk to them about dating and how you date. Because I think the problem was the root cause, which was dating, when you date, how you date.
And what? Okay.
And
Let's just unpack that for
Yes.
our listeners who is not married yet.
yes.
What are you saying? Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Amanda.
Welcome to Filter Through Faith. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yes, we're so happy to have you with us. And today, we're
Drum
gonna
roll,
be talking
please.
about the very difficult topic, marriage. Well, it has definitely its pros, but it is a challenge. If
It
you've
is.
been married for a while, then you'll know what we're talking about.
Mhm.
If you're in your blissful stage, God bless you. Enjoy it. But if you are in you're still in your blissful stage, Sammy.
Somewhat. Yes, I mean,
Okay.
we'll talk about it.
How long are you married?
I'm married for 5 years now.
Mhm.
And you?
We are married. Ooh, I
How
always
long?
forget.
We lost count.
we lost count. We lost count how long it is. I think it's 15 years.
Going 16.
Let's
Yeah,
call it 16.
it's
Going
15.
16.
We made it was 15 years now, December.
I feel like
So this- So for those watching, our husbands are behind the cameras.
Mhm.
So this is an even more interesting
Episode.
episode for
'Cause
us.
they actually want to
But
be
we
here.
try to prepare them for any bombs we're gonna drop. But we're not dropping any bombs. But yeah.
Or are we?
Oh, are we?
Sips
The
coffee.
sips tea. Yeah. So we are married 15 years. I always forget because, like, I don't know, things like that just don't matter to me.
Mhm.
I mean, I try to keep, like, more or less know where it is. But yeah, it's 15 years. And then we'll be 16 in December. I can't even believe it's
Which
been
day?
that long. December
No.
16th. 16th.
Okay.
16th. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I can't even believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but when I see my children and how they've grown, then I'm like, yeah, okay, it's been that long.
So which stage are you at? Because the other day I was chatting to someone and they kind of reminded me that this is still like the thick years apparently of marriage, where you have your children and you still making more babies and popping out babies and
What
it's
is
happy.
thick as in like
Like-
hard?
No, like good, like apparently a
Oh.
good thick, like you're having your babies and everything is blissful and great. And then your thin years, I don't know how they
Okay.
got to that, but apparently your thin years is where the kids are a little bit grown and it's like you're struggling and
Okay.
life is just hard. So where are you?
So I don't know about thick and thin or whatever, but I think our first year was very hard for us,
Mhm.
very, very hard because we had two very different upbringings.
Mhm.
Plus, I'm also a stepmom, so like add that into like getting to know each other and all of those things. That was hard. But then I would say post 5, I actually feel like your first 5 are harder. And I always say to people, and there's no science, but I always say to people, I think if your first year is not sufficiently like a little bit challenging, I think you're holding some things back.
Mm.
So like with us, we held nothing back that first year. I'm not sure why, but we didn't. And so it was hard. Also, I think because of the way our life was at the time, where we were at, and we were just so together
Mhm.
that it was very hard to hold anything back.
Mhm.
And so it was a hard year. But I think post 5 was easier for us. That's
Oh,
our
really?
story.
Okay.
Post 5, once our kids started growing up a little bit, once we started to figure out, also once we got more mature in our faith,
Mm.
it was easier for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you understood the purpose of marriage, which is to
Yeah.
define you, right?
Yeah.
So for us, our first year was challenging for multiple reasons. Firstly, it was 2020. So our first year of marriage was lockdown. We literally we nowhere. We just had each
It's
other.
crazy that you guys are. It feels so short, but it's actually quite long.
It is long.
Yeah.
5 years is long.
But it feels like when you say like our first year of marriage was lockdown,
You're like, oh no, that was last year. What are you talking about, Sam?
it feels so like
No, not
yeah.
that long.
Okay.
But and then we also had a baby. So we were
Yes.
pregnant for half the time, or most of the time. Couldn't go anywhere. It was scary. It was crazy because like, if I don't like this man, like,
Yes.
it's lockdown. Where you gonna go, Sam?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. That's not what I
You
thought,
did
but-
end up liking him. Turned out well.
Turned out good. So yeah, we had a baby the first year, which if I could go back and redo it, I would wait a little bit longer
Okay.
before
To have kids.
to have kids. Maybe a year.
Yeah.
I'd say year, honeymoon phase, get it all out, enjoy.
Well, we waited technically a year because after our first year is when Ailey came, our
Okay.
eldest daughter.
And how was that?
It was
Was so
nice,
hard.
but it was no honeymoon. Like I said, that first year was hard for us.
Oh,
So like it wasn't really a honeymoon phase, quite honestly.
okay.
I think if I could give any recommendation to my daughters or my son even, I would say I think what made our early years hard was that we were still trying to figure out who we are. I was only 22.
Yes, you were young, but I was a lot older than you.
Yeah.
And
How old were you?
26,
Okay.
which is like
Your frontal lobe was fully developed.
exactly. I should have known better, but I didn't. So I don't know if it is like if it's a thing.
If it really
Unless
helps
you maybe
all that much.
yeah, I don't know if it helps all that much, or maybe you should then be getting married in your 30s, because I feel like your 30s is when you really like know yourself.
I don't know. I feel like it's such a tricky balance though, because if you wait too long, then
You're stuck in your
problem
ways.
is you're so stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to look. I've had many people ask me like, would you let your daughters get married as young as, or your son or whoever?
Yeah, would you?
And I think this is my thing. If you find someone that you feel like, yes, I can make a whole life with this person, and I love them, and it's so serious, then I'd rather you just get married.
But tell me something, would
and
you
grow together.
and grow together.
Yeah.
But if it's someone that's a lot, let's say your daughter with a older man, and she's young, but he's much older. Maybe he's 30, she's 21.
So I think root cause, right, is also we were chatting a little bit about this earlier today. So we have like a group of friends, praise God, very grateful for them, that we meet together with, that's also married women, and we kind of just chat through where we at and how things are going. And it's just good to have a group of women that help you be accountable, help you when you're struggling, help you when you... So we were chatting with one of the ladies this morning, and she was saying how, her parents never spoke to her about dating and whatever. And I think root cause, before I even get to any conversations with my kids about marriage, I pray the Lord gives me the wisdom to talk to them about dating and how you date. Because I think the problem was the root cause, which was dating, when you date, how you date.
And what, okay.
And
let's just unpack that for
yes,
our listeners who is not married yet.
yes.
What are you saying?
So for me, I think it's important for parents to have conversations with their kids. Like I heard one guy say that his parents sat him down and said, okay, there was a couple, he said he feels like he's ready for dating. And then his parents said to him, okay, when such is like maybe your schoolwork, and we can see that you're responsible in this, then you come and sit us down, we'll have a real conversation about how you date. And then he made sure to hit those things that his parents said, and then they sat down and had a real conversation.
So how do you date?
And his parents, so I felt like that was there was a lot of wisdom when I heard that the way, so he was about 16, and the way his parents said to him was like, this is the type of things you look for in a girl. And when you date, this is how far you go, this is how you don't go. This is why you look for this. This is why this is a red flag.
That's incredible.
So I felt like that was actually
incredible.
wisdom.
That is incredible.
And my parents didn't, obviously you just do the best you can, you don't know. But I felt like that was wisdom. So before I even get to marriage conversations with my kids, I'd like to get to like, when they say, Mommy, I feel like now I want to date. and then I'll say, like, Kirsten and I will obviously have a discussion about it and see how you are. Are you responsible? Do you, like, because you can't handle dating if you're failing. Like,
Yeah, it makes no
let's
sense.
handle
Like,
passing
yeah.
first.
Let's pass first. Let's get you over the line.
Yes.
Not
But
a 30%.
let's say you're shooting the lights out, you're doing your best at school, you are, doing all those things, then it's like, and you feel like now you're 17, you're in matric or whatever the age, like, obviously I wouldn't do before 16, but let's say like you at that, and another friend of mine also said, I feel it's so important to speak to people whose kids are older than you. Like, make sure you have people in your circle whose kids are older than you. So another friend of mine, she told me, I used to work with her, and she said, a Muslim lady, in fact, and she said she realized with her eldest daughter, the mistake she made was that she allowed this house permission. She allowed this boy to come and sit on their couch, and that was how he dated their daughter. And with her second eldest, what she then did is, he was a boy, and she said, you were allowed to date. He was also about 16, 17. All her kids were academically doing well. And she said, you're about 16, 17. I mean, yeah. And she said, and he said, okay, mommy, daddy, I want to date this girl. They were like, okay, fine. This is the rules of our house now. We've learned a lesson. This is how you date. You don't go sit by their house. You don't sit by our house. When you date, you save your allowance. You take this girl out for ice cream. You take her out to the movies. You're there for 2 hours. You're there for an hour. You're there for... It's an actual date.
That's good.
There's no of like, you're coming to sit on my couch, watch my TV. No, the boy must also learn that he has to save. He has to work, wash the car, do whatever he needs to do so that he can take this girl out. And then he knows it's a limited time. And he's like, okay, what can I do that's the best to get to know Sam in these 2 hours? Like, should I take her to the movies?
And also
should I take her ice skating? Should I take her to the...
If you think about that, and if looking at the bigger picture, this guy grows older, right? And then gets married, and then understands that to have quality time with his woman, he needs to take her out of the environment, take her for her date, spend time with her. Nice. Yes. I like
so when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, mental note.
Yes, that is so
because
good.
I was like, I'm definitely gonna save that one for my kids, because I agreed fully. She was like, with her eldest daughter, she realized the relationship progressed too fast. So now it's like you're going too quickly into love. Now you're 18 and you're in love, and what comes after love? You feel like you have to have sex, and then after sex, it's like, you know what I mean? It's too early. You're too soon.
It's rushed. Yes.
Too. So I feel like actually the route that we should be talking to our kids about, or the things that I wish I'd done differently, was knowing how to date. Because I think when you date like that, where it's like, no, we're going out for dinner, or we're going out for lunch, or for breakfast, or for a coffee, and that's pretty much it. We're not going to sit at houses
and
for
get
long.
tempted for unnecessary things.
Then you can actually, like, you can see what the weeds between the grass, or whatever that saying is. Like, you can actually see that, oh no, I don't really like the way he deals with a petrol attendant. But also, actually, I don't really like how he talks to his mom. Or
is he actually serious? Is he saving his money to take me out on a date?
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that... So I feel like, so that coupled with like that other guy that I heard him share this testimony about his parents, with like them saying, this is a red flag. See how they treat their mom. See how they treat their dad. See how they treat the waitress at a restaurant. See how they treat... Those are the things that's gonna... See how they deal with stress. Why don't you guys go on a date where it's like you haven't where you put in a situation where it's like
the box,
like where you put under pressure.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
You have to get yourself out of the box.
Yeah, or maybe so what is it called? I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but or something like that. Go do a game night with them. See how they can handle teamwork, and
because
those
that's really good
that's
things.
How you date.
Yes, that's really good. All good things to have in your toolbox for when you do get married. It really is. You have to look at dating as what is the end goal in this.
Yes.
And I think that's where a lot of us go wrong.
And I think a lot of us think, so that was my thing, right? I was 19 and I was like, I didn't have any plans to marry my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Zero plans. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I'm 19, I haven't really dated,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that, okay, he has a daughter, he has an
Mm-hmm.
ex-wife, like, this is gonna affect our marriage. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think about all those things. I was just like, he's a cute guy, and he seems nice, and I like him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we dated, and we fell in love, and now it's like, shucks, we in love. This is not something that I can easily walk away from.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it's hard, even so, through all that, I feel like God has had grace. Like, God has used all the things. Like, I always say, I don't think I would have been the Christian I am if I was never a stepmom, because there's a lot of things you realize, like, I just don't have any control over it. Like, all I can do is pray in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's one of the things, like many others, like the death of my dad, or
Mm-hmm.
there's, like, I think a lot of things in life the Lord is able to use anyway for your good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion. Do you think you would have dated differently?
I definitely think I would have dated if I had all the knowledge that you just shared with me. If I had all those things in my toolbox, there was a lot of heartbreaks I didn't have to go through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone through because I would have known the red flags in
Mm.
these people and been like, this is actually not who I would like to end up with. This guy doesn't treat me well, or whatever the case
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
I definitely would have dated differently. But I also feel like those mistakes and those hurts and everything lands you where you are today.
Yes.
And that's the most beautiful thing
Yes.
about making mistakes, is that you end up where God wants you to be. And
Yes.
most of the time it's better than what you thought.
Yes.
Because I mean, if I think about myself, poor Chad Shame, I didn't want to get married and I didn't want to have children. I was against it.
Okay.
I was
Why?
so against it. I have no idea, because I
Okay.
come from a household where marriage was priority. It wasn't like
Yeah.
my parents would shout at each other, or very rarely. They
Yeah.
have a very good relationship.
Okay.
They still do. Like, we knew, like, if my mom and my dad comes home from work, my mom will cook quickly, make a cup of tea, they sit together and have tea, and you dare
Interrupt. Oh,
interrupt
isn't that
them
so sweet?
catching up.
That's so sweet.
Like,
though.
that is not a thing. We all knew, like, that's their time. Like, they catch up, and then after they catch up, we can eat together.
Yeah.
So I don't know, my friend. I thought that. Do you know what I actually thought growing up? It's so silly, but now I'm thinking about it. I thought that marriage and having kids makes you poor. Like, it does
Well,
to
it does.
a certain
Well,
degree. I
it
thought,
does.
like,
I think
every
young you was not
like
wrong.
I always say to myself, I don't want to be poor. She was not wrong.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think it does affect you, but like I was saying the other night to some other friends I was talking to, like, in like 3 sentences, you can tell if somebody is not married and doesn't have kids yet. And rightly or wrongly, they're just selfish.
They are selfish.
And
They are.
and I say rightly or wrongly because I sometimes will have this conversation with my daughter who's now like into teenage years, and I'll be like, don't be in a rush to get married, don't be in a rush to find love, like, even though there's pressure, like, you can't be single, whatever, like, actually put somewhere in your mind that, you know what, I want to be single for a little bit, because I was like, once you get married, everything is compromised.
Yes, it is. For your marriage to actually work, you have to serve the other person. So if you
Yes.
are not serving
Yes.
and you are complaining about your marriage, start there. Start.
And with women, I feel like our nature is more lean towards compromise. So we tend to compromise first
lot more.
and a lot more before men do. And so then it's like you bend, you cave more. I think it's the way
You
the
wanted
Lord
to
made
say
us.
bend over backwards,
But it's the
yes,
truth.
it is
It's
the
kind
truth.
of the
It
truth.
is the
Like,
truth.
you're like, oh, should I just leave this thing, or, you know? And for men, I think it's just, I don't know. We obviously have a one-sided view, but I really do
No, it
think
is. It is true. And I say this when it comes to just a simple thing like work. It's not simple, but it is simple. when you have a baby, right, and you go back to work or you don't go back to work, but let's say you go back to work, you will never work the same because you constantly thinking about the family, constantly thinking about this child, constantly thinking like, is she okay? Yes, she does. Da, 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 da. What am I gonna cook? Da, da, da. You are always thinking about somebody else. When your husband goes back to work, he just falls in. Like it's normal. Like he doesn't compromise his work. He knows what he needs to do. When that child is sick, they call the mom. The mom stays at home. The mom skips work. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's all those things, and I think
And the
young
kid
Sam
doesn't
maybe
even
saw that also. Young Sam was like,
I
not for
want
me,
all
I'm
of
out of here.
that. So what made you change your mind? Chad was
Chad just
so
kept
drop
this
dead
thing.
gorgeous that you
No,
were
Chad
like,
just wouldn't stop ask. I'm joking. No, I think that was God, Amanda. I have no
Okay.
idea what changed my mind, but it
Okay.
just happened.
Okay.
It happened so quickly, even with kids. We literally got married. Like I said to him, I don't want kids right now. We're gonna wait until I'm 30. I've been saying that. I said, Chad, my first child is gonna be when I'm 30. And he had words about it, but eventually he was okay with it. He was just like, I mean, what can he do? You can't force me to have
Yes.
children. So he's like, oh, it's fine. I'll be a grandpa when that's what he used to say. I'll be so old when I have kids and they're gonna be teenagers and I won't be able to kick ball with them. But it happened overnight, and that's just the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Where I just woke up one morning and I said, Chad, I think we should try.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Try what?
Out of the blue.
Like, I think we should try and have children. He's like, you're silly.
Yeah.
And he didn't take me seriously, but
Yeah.
I was like, just changed.
So in your 5 years, what has been the thing that is when it's hard, where you guys are in a difficult season, where you feel like you're struggling to communicate, because we all have that, where it's like struggling to communicate, the connection's not there. What has been the thing that's like helped you? What's helped you? You're still figuring it out.
I'm still
It's a big
figuring it.
question.
It is a big question because there's a lot of things that we do. And I can't just be like, oh, we just have sex. But honestly, it is. I hate that I'm going to say it, but it's true. It's so true because it's the only thing that like connects Chad immediately, like locks him in immediately. It's the only thing that then takes me back and humbles me also.
Yes.
That's like, okay, but like now I'm in love and like, and it's like, it's cringe to say.
So we
but
had a
it's-
little bit of this
it's
conversation this
true.
morning with the ladies. It's like a lot with men. I don't think it's just, I think with men generally, they need to feel that intimate connection.
Yes, they do.
But for us, we need a lot more before we get to that intimate connection.
We are inward.
Yes.
And we just like our private
Yes.
parts, like the ours is inside and the
Yes.
there was
That's
this
actually
side. It's
That's a very good
scientifically
analogy,
proven. It's actually
actually.
scientifically
Yeah, it's a very good
proven.
analogy.
But that's what
But
it
how
is.
do you make it so we had like actually quite a real conversation with the ladies about this morning, because it's like you have to find the balance, because it actually we can't always be conceding
compromising.
to them. We can't always be compromising to what they, and a lady wants to be wooed. She wants to be taken out. She wants to be like, you
Dressing up.
dressing up and feeling like you're still making that dating effort that you made when you were not yet married.
It's the dating.
And
it is
exactly.
the dating.
And then it makes everything else in the bedroom, in your intimate time, it makes exactly.
Just
but
so
if
much
it's
better.
not that, then
it's hard. You have to again compromise then, and then like humble yourself and
but I
get
feel like
into
you
it.
shouldn't have to. So
Not all the time.
Yeah.
No.
I think sometimes I feel like it's okay to put your lamppost up and say,
nah.
And maybe people
That's
are
not
gonna hate
godly.
this.
Stop it.
People are gonna hate this advice, and they're gonna. But I feel like you can't always concede. You can't always concede. As much as we concede, they must also concede.
Yeah, because the Bible also says you must love your wife the way God loves the church. And listen, God takes care of the church.
Yes.
So please take care of me. Stop it.
So that's what I was. So our husbands were like before this. They were like, "This is gonna be a complaining session." But just to make it not a complaining session.
No, but also
make
sure we have nothing to complain about then.
I mean, I agree, but I think in reality, that's
Yeah, it
hard.
is hard. It is
It's
hard.
hard to do because, but I think that is the beauty of marriage. It's like it's always one person helping the other person helping the other person. Like that's the thing, right? And it's not always gonna be perfect. And there's a lot of legacy things that we all dealing with.
Yes,
We dealing with
exactly.
I'm trying to not bring the things from my
My
house.
household,
You dealing
yes.
with I'm trying to not bring the things from my house. Coupled upon we still trying to make some time for each
Hard
other. What
times.
type of romantic relationship did we see in our parents? You know, all of those things. So
It's figuring life out with your
yes.
partner. And when before you get married, it was like, oh, my my soulmate, I'm gonna marry myself, we're gonna grow together and build life together.
Yeah.
And yes, you are.
Yeah.
But it's like this.
Yes.
It's not like, oh,
Yes.
lovely,
It's
we're
not
gonna
always
build
a
a life together.
uphill or
Yes,
whatever.
yes. And sometimes things are hard. You're still building your life
Yes.
because next time when this thing knocks at your door, you know how to handle it.
Yes. Like somebody said, what? At 15 or after 10 years, isn't marriage so easy? I was like, no, I feel like marriage is always work and it's always gonna
It
be
is work. Because marriage is not only a prize and a gift from the Lord, it's stewardship. You have to steward it well. If you don't,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen?
But I think two people need to do that.
Yes.
Both people need to. That's why I'm saying at a certain point, I feel like if you always the one, and this goes either way for man and woman, but if you always the one conceding, like I'm always, it cannot be. And I always say to my husband, I want to stay married, but I want to stay happily married.
Yep.
I
There's a
don't want to
difference.
stay. I don't want to just stay married for the sake of we
we
married. Like, and I know a lot of like Christian people are gonna be like, what type of message are you putting out there, Amanda, and whatever. And fine, but for me personally, I think both people need to continue trying. If both people are not trying, if you're not like, you know what, I value this. I value this, and if you saying to me that this doesn't make you happy, and I want to try to make you happy, then I'm going to try. And same on his side. And like I feel like that has to be the goal always.
But do you think that you can then be happy in marriage constantly, like you constantly happy, or what does happiness look like? Because you obviously have to love when it hurts also.
That sounds like a great lyric for a song.
I think that is a song.
um I think I mean happy from a holistic point of view. I don't mean like happy go lucky in every single moment, but I definitely mean like, yeah, I still want to be in this. I prefer being in this than out of this.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like, you know what, life would be easier without you.
Or whatever. Or what's that one phrase that I keep seeing on Instagram? Single married person.
Yeah.
Like that's awful.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that is awful.
And that's what I'm saying is a lot of, I think sometimes the Christian narrative or the church narrative is so much like, yeah, you must just like suffer through it.
Oh,
and
that's awful.
That's awful. I actually don't think that's if somebody else is not willing to come to the party. I'm not saying you should get a divorce.
No.
I'm not advocating for it.
There's ways you can.
But I am saying like you should obviously exhaust all options. But like at a certain point it's like I've seen people, or I know of a lot of people where they're like 40 years married. But then they were basically miserable their whole lives.
Oh, can you imagine getting to 40 and being so miserable?
Can you imagine it, Sammy?
Can you imagine being an empty nester and like hating the person next to you?
Right?
Or like,
or you can
not wanting to rub feet with this person.
Yes, you can barely stand. Or it's like a marriage of convenience. You know, you're just together because financially it makes sense, or you don't want to hurt the kids, or like,
oh no, that's horrible. You're hurting the kids more by just staying together, because
like
everything grows from a great marriage.
Yeah. So it breaks my heart when I see things like that. Really, it does break my heart.
So talking about like having a hard marriage, there's also things that you can do to work on your marriage, like having a servant heart, like trying to outbless your person. So like
Yeah.
if you're, and this is all fun and games, guys. Like this is where you get to know your person. So let's say your partner does something nice for you.
Yeah.
You know that feeling. That feeling is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you want to do something else to top that off for them to have that feeling.
Yeah.
And you know what we should be very careful of having love languages and portraying that on your person. Like if your love language is touch, don't think I'm going to touch my partner and my partner should feel
Yes.
loved,
Yeah.
because that's not
Yeah.
true. That's like the furthest thing from the truth. If your partner's love language is I don't know, what's the others, quality
Time
time,
or yeah.
right?
Yeah. Which is
Then
honestly
make
probably
sure,
most women's is quality time.
so make sure that you hit that spot also.
Yeah.
Like have quality time with her, and then she'll feed into your love language.
Yes.
Because I think as a person, because of how you receive love, how you feel loved, you just share love that
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
And it's natural, but try and not do that. Make sure you understand your person's love language. Also, then be serving, like serve your person. Also try to make your person happier. Don't be selfish.
Yeah.
Like nobody likes somebody that just complains and talks about themselves all the time.
It's so lovely to do those things until this bruh
Doesn't want to
is
be with
doing
you.
something that or doing something that you've like said 50 times, I don't like this.
My friend, what does
Then it's
Proverbs
like-
say about a woman that's talking 50 times?
No, I'm saying he's doing something like 50 times. That's what I'm saying. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying in the reality of it, it's like, yeah, we've spoken about XYZ, but then this is still showing up, still showing up, still showing up. And that's why I say a lot of times we're fighting against things of our past, things of our parents, things of our homes. You see what I'm saying? And it's behaviors that's not so easy to
No,
just
that's
break.
not easy to break. It is not easy to break. But
And so
if you don't break it, your child's going to have to
Yes.
break it.
And so I hear your point about having a servant heart, but I also just want to kind of balance it with like grace for the fact that you're not always gonna feel that way. You're not always gonna feel like
It's
I
hard.
can be so Christian in this moment. Like you are gonna struggle, you are gonna mess up. I think the best marriages are the marriages where people can come and say, you know what, sure, sorry, I messed up again. Like I didn't do the right thing. And I know you've spoken to me about this. I know but I messed up and I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling to get it right because I don't know, let's say it's like you have a bad tone. Like you can't you don't know how to, when you're angry, you don't know how to like control your tone. Let's say it's something like that. But let's say you grew up in a house where that wasn't yes, people would just like speak nasty to each other in the family and whatever. And then it's like you have to actually consciously change that behavior. It's actually not as easy.
No, it's not.
And so you then need a partner who's able to have grace with you, and also a partner who the person who's struggling with the behavior to be able to say that, you know what, I'm not perfect, like I'm really struggling. Or maybe we need to both go for help on this. Let's say it's something else. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the best marriages are the marriages where you're continuously evolving, where you're continuously realizing. Because you're never going to get to a point where it's like, yeah, no, I'm so perfect, man.
But also the other thing is, with a marriage, it's there to redefine you. It's not there to make you happy. Let's also be clear. Because I think we have this thing in our heads where we say to ourselves, if this marriage is not serving me by making me happy, then I don't want to be in here anymore. But that's not the purpose of marriage. The purpose of marriage is for you to change your heart, to humble yourself, to become a servant of the Lord, because that's what God wants from you. And once you do that, those behaviors from your parents does not stand a chance, Amanda. Let's be clear. We're talking about God here. Those patterns do not stand a chance. And no, it's not going to happen overnight. Your husband's not going to come and say, oh, today I am, God's worked in me today.
And all of a sudden I
I talk
Yeah.
gently to you. No, it's
No.
not. That's not the case.
It's
It's
some
gonna come and
behaviors
show
that
up.
you
It's
have
gonna
to,
show up.
yeah.
It's gonna show up. But you have to also, you as the person, not my partner. You have as the person needs to take this to God and say, God, I am really struggling. I am surrendering to you.
Yes.
I am then having discipline and self-control, because God gave you a spirit of
Yeah.
self-control. Have self-control over your tone.
Yeah. So
You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
what you were saying earlier about humility, and I think it's humility on both ends.
Yeah.
It's a spirit of humility where you have to be like, oh, I messed up, I'm gonna try again.
Yes.
Oh, well, you know what I mean? Not perpetually messing up without really trying, but really saying, I messed up, we're
And
gonna
that does,
try again.
let's also pause here, because that doesn't mean sleeping out. Okay?
No, not like that.
No,
Yeah,
that
there is
messing
deal
up,
breakers.
that is messing up like that is not
Yes,
okay. That's
that is
just
deal
not
breakers.
okay.
Yeah, we're talking about like pattern
Simple,
behaviors, like
simple things.
those
Yeah.
types of things. We're not talking about like abuse
Yes.
or
Please get out. In those cases,
yes.
get out.
We're not talking about abuse. We're not talking about uh infidelity. Thank you. We're not talking about those types of things. We're talking about like just general stuff that honestly can sometimes frustrate the living daylights out of you. And most times, 9 out of 10 times, people are getting divorced for things like that. It's like,
Yes.
oh, you didn't show enough compassion to me when the dog died, and I love the dog, and it was my dog.
But that's a hard thing, though.
I know, but it's like, but things like that are happening where it's like, you know what? Now you hold that resentment in your heart, and then next year the cat dies, then you're like, this is it. That's the final straw. I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like things building on each other like that, that people are eventually getting to that point where it's like, but I think there's a few things that, yeah, it's, I don't think God is calling you to like be abused. No ways.
No, you're not a doormat.
No.
God has really big things for
Yeah.
you. And then another thing is also like people moving in different directions. So career-wise, mental-wise, because there's times where Chad and I struggled with this when we did get married, or just before we were dating. I can't remember. It was somewhere along those lines. We really struggled with ambition, because I was coming from, I can be and do whatever I want to, and he was coming from realistically. I say it when he used to say that. So though that imbalance also causes a lot of issues in marriage.
Well, you were too driven?
I was too driven and he was just too laxy-daisy.
Okay.
Manifesting.
No, he was too laxy-daisy.
Link above for the manifesting episode.
You know what? There was a car. It was my first car, actually. My first car. Do you know, Chad told me I would never drive that car.
And then you like,
And then
you
I said
showed
to
him.
give me a year, brother. And I bought that car.
Yeah.
And I made him come with me to pick up the car.
Yeah.
To show him. But all that and saying that, it was so hard to try and get this person to the same page as me. And it was hard because I was frustrated that he was so locked up in that.
Yes.
And I was like, Lord, I don't know if I can see myself long term with this person.
But
that
that's
can't
the type
see
of things
what
that
you
I'm
have
saying,
for
like
me.
that come from, that's honestly right now, I feel
Generational.
like a lot of people are breaking up because of things like that. That actually, when you come together to some beautiful middle ground, it can actually be beautiful for your nations to come. Like with us, I was also like a big dreamer, and my husband was not really such a big dreamer, but because he was limited in his thinking, I think because of the way he grew up,
Same, yeah.
and so it's like, actually sometimes I'm dreaming too much, and then coming together is a nice medium, but I think you have to be open to that, and not make it so deep. I mean, it is deep, but
it is deep because people can no. Your
Yes.
husband can actually hold you back, or your wife can actually hold you back, Amanda, because you will be okay. I need to be there and move this way,
Yeah.
but then your husband can be like, no, actually, what's wrong with us staying in our
Yes,
hometown? We
yeah.
can be comfortable here. My parents
Yes.
are around the corner. Everything
Yes.
is fine. Why do we need to move?
and you like seeing a bigger picture and
Yes,
whatever.
and you have
But
this
I feel
great
like
opportunity.
those are the moments where prayer matters in marriage. Those are the
I mean,
moments, like
pre-math
there's
is all the time.
all the
in
time,
marriage.
but in those, those are the spaces where I've seen God's hand really work, because there's many times where we've had a disagreement, or Kirsten's about to do a business thing or whatever, and I just have like a funny feeling about it, just something is off, and then I'll just be praying, and I'll pray like, Lord, if it's not your will, let it fall through, like let this thing not work out, and then it falls through.
So the other thing is that some people have different careers, right? So
Yeah.
in a marriage, one person is like progressing and taking opportunities in his work, and the other person is not.
Yes.
Like they don't want to move, they're happy with the entry job that they've started with.
Yeah.
And it causes a lot of issues in the household. How do you then work through
Especially
that?
between, so I hear exactly what you're saying. So right now I think we in an era, for whatever reason, where female leaders are taking like root, like if you are ambitious, hardworking, you have your qualifications, plus you're a non-white woman, like the world is your oyster in a South African context. Like if you incorporate South Africa, like you could actually go far if you work hard, if you have a good network, all of those things. And I think I have a lot of friends where they experiencing these, and I talk about it often because we had a similar thing in our marriage, where for the longest time I was a high earner, and my husband was working and working hard, but he was not making the same progress I was making. And I think for a lot of men, the issue that they have is that starts to affect their feelings of manhood, their ability to be like, the provider, the what the world defines as a man and whatever. I think we had to have a lot of just really open and vulnerable
Hard
conversations
conversations.
about it. Like we would often talk about like this is a partnership in every sense of the word. So it's like if right now I'm in a season where I'm working super
Leverage your work.
hard, like, and I'm in business meetings and whatever, and I'm only getting home 7 in the evening, then you have to be the type of partner who's willing to start the food. Like that's what I was talking about earlier, is like both people being humble and being like, because these are the options, right? We can all nicely enjoy this money, or we can not. Like those are the options, right? So it's like, and he at the time was starting out his business, so he was not in the same. So first he was in his career trying, but it was just too hard to break through. It was not as easy for him
As it
versus
was.
my field to break
And
through.
not that it was easy, but the
Yes,
opportunities presented itself.
more. And so we had to have like real conversations, like, no, I'd like a partner in every sense of the word, like somebody who's gonna, like, I'm
all
also
in.
WhatsApping the teacher, like, what must the assignment actually be? Or I'm also going to the parents'
Yes.
evening because you have a meeting that only ended at 6 and you're driving home. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a partnership, because life is all about seasons. And now we're in a season where I'm doing something that I'm more passionate about, and I'm taking the back seat financially, and he's having to carry the full load of our finances, and so he's having to earn all the money. And so now we find ourselves in a different space where I'm feeling like I don't see you. Like, you working when I wake up, you sleeping when I go to sleep, you working, like you always working, and we have no time for each other. So now it's a new thing we have to learn to navigate. It's like, okay, what is our balance of time? But that's what I was saying, like for me the root is, do you care enough to hear what I'm saying, that I'm missing you, we're not spending time together, and actually do some adjustments? And same like how when I was in that season, did I care enough to do
what you're
you
saying.
see what I'm saying? So that's
To just plug
what
into each other.
matters. Yeah.
And sometimes it's just 15 minutes. It's just take some time and have a coffee together,
Yeah.
before you go out. Yeah, in closing,
Yes.
let's do 3 things that's really helped you in marriage.
So I'll start with number one is, I earlier on I read a book. It's called Fascinating Womanhood. It's a very old book, and a lot of it needed to be jigged. So the ladies group that we have is a class that we run reading the book, and we just like really put it in the context of this world, but I felt like the content of it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good thing that helped us, I think, because it shaped a lot of misconceptions I had in my mind. So I would
So
say unlearning some bad behaviors, and I would say individually, like, do research, read a book, like watch a podcast, do some stuff, that you feel like, okay, these are areas we're struggling with. How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better wife? Like, if it's finances, like, educate yourself. And then secondly, I would say, I don't know, I feel like that's my only one. I don't have actually three.
Really?
Oh, no, I have a last one. I have two. The first
take it
one
home.
was that, like, educate yourself on whatever it is. There is, like, solutions. If it's finances you guys are struggling with, if it's family problems. Secondly, I would say pray. Pray is a big component. No, see, as I'm going, I have three. I have three.
Yeah.
Secondly, I would say pray. Pray is a big one. And then finally, I would say maybe find a mentor couple. Surround yourself with people who is doing marriage well.
Yes.
And maybe
That's loving
that
marriage.
will rub off on you. Yeah, that's it.
So I would say don't compare your partner. Keep studying your partner because everybody's changing. It's not the same person you married. They keep changing. And you would want your partner to change because honestly, I don't think you want to be married in your 40s to a 21-year-old boy. And
Facts.
the one thing that has really, really worked in our marriage, and I think this comes from the type of places we come from, also our backgrounds, not bashing or not like talking negative about my husband or to my husband. I'm very careful with that. In the beginning of our marriage, I used to do that often because it's just something I saw. Like we would sit around the table with family, with Chad's family, whoever's family, and they would say, "Oh, our husbands don't do anything. They don't like to cook."
And you
they
also
don't
get
like...
in on
And
that
I'd be
conversation.
like, yeah, it's true.
A nice moaning, groaning session, yeah.
Yes. So then I started watching my tongue. So I started being better and not contributing. And when they ask me, I'll be like, no, actually, Chad does it. Like, Chad cooks or Chad does whatever he needs to do. Or sometimes I'm just quiet. If Chad doesn't
you don't have
do
anything
the things
positive to say, you just
I just
shut
be
up.
quiet. Yeah. I'll just be quiet. And then not speaking negatively to him. So even though I'm like, Chad, and our pastor and Chad always reminds me, gave us a blueprint. Blueprint to Marriage. So good. Such a good book as well. And in there it says, never say always and never say never. So don't be like, you are always doing this.
Oh, that's nice.
And never say, you never take me out on a date, because that's just
Not
saying
true.
it's it.
Yeah.
That's the final say. So yeah, that's mine. That was 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was 3.
Lovely. Awesome.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you so much
I
for
hope you guys
joining us.
enjoyed it. Please can you like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you are, we're there too. And yeah, follow us.
Don't be afraid. Like, leave a comment. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a comment.
Yes, we love reading your comments. Thank you
for joining
guys.
us.
Bye.
Bye.